Feels like I'm caught up in a trance. Can't come down all night. The city never stood a chance. With you by my side, it's all ours. So don't second guess.
What is good, Nimfam? We are back with another Team Help Ultimate Champion stream. And as you can see, I'm joined, as always, by the fabulous SpeedyQ. We are so sorry for the late dropout last week, but I'll let Speedy fill you in on that one. Go on, Speedy, tell him where we were.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, as most of you guys potentially know that we're in Discord, the middle son got a little dog bite, but at least he had fewer stitches than Harrogate had against Mansfield in the midweek. He only had 7. He is all right. They came out today, so that was the reason for the postponement. So big apologies from my side.
Yeah, all good, all good. These things crop up every now and again, so don't worry about it. But we'll move on because we did have a lineup, and we'd like to give a shout out to the Granite Shaka Mythic giveaway winner, don't we?
That's correct. So we ran, obviously, the NIMS Festive Cup, which ran from game week 144 until game week 147. And our overall winner, Mr. Joseph Kerr, 85, won himself a nice Granite Zaka with his new Bayer Leverkusen kit on. I hope he put him in his team against Bayern Munich last weekend, because obviously they won. They are current log leaders and unbeaten. So a quality prize there, and I hope he scores you lots of UC points going forward.
Yeah, congratulations, buddy. Well done. I did see that you messaged at the time on Twitter, but we were waiting for the official announcement, so so that's why that's why it's been a bit delayed. But yeah, congratulations, and we mustn't forget our silver pack winner for Game Week 146, right, Speedy?
That's correct. That was obviously which UC athlete will score the most points in game week 146. That was won by JRPX. Congratulations. He selected Alejandro Grimaldo, scored 232 points, which was a fantastic return. Other notable mentions on athletes that week was Gundogan got 216, Frankie de Jong 209, and obviously Granit Xhaka, who we just mentioned, 201 points. But congratulations, JRPX, Alejandro Grimaldo, another fantastic card from Leverkusen.
Yeah, congratulations. Cool. Prizes galore here, and hold on to your seats because there's a couple more coming a little later in the stream. But don't forget to get your questions in the chat, guys, for us, because we obviously do a bit of a Q&A at the end, so we'd like to get as many questions as possible, so get them into us. Now, Speedy, it seems like the right time to touch upon how your teams got on in game week 146 and 147. So we'll start with 146.
That's correct. We obviously wanted to touch base on these last week, but due to unforeseen circumstances, as you heard, we couldn't. So we're touching base because nothing special happened midweek, and things like that. So for my game week 146 Ultimate Champions Pro 11 aside, I was very, very surprised to obtain a podium. As you can see, if I'm not mistaken, I think I also had a do not play in that lineup, Paul Hanlon, who didn't play, and I had no bench coverage, but still managed third place, 1,100 UNA, 2,400 MGC. So that was very, very exciting, and happy with the performance of that specific team that game week.
Yeah, it was quite a good performance there from yourself. And what about in game week 147?
Game week 147 went a touch better, but this time it was in the UC International Tier 2, 11 aside. Actually got a second place, 1,925 UNA, 2,700 MGC. Also another great performance. I was surprised. It was a midweek game week, which I don't normally perform too well on. So very, very happy with that specific return. And I wanted to share these teams as well, because since we've started the the podcast, my selections for each game week hasn't been top notch, but at least you can see I do select some decent teams to win some rewards.
Well, that's the curse of the stream. I think it happens to every streamer really when they start doing this sort of thing. But yeah, you've done really well there, and yeah, I think it is good sometimes just to highlight when we've had good game weeks, because it'll show people, that we do have bad ones and we do have good ones as well. So that's always good. But as you know, with most streams, we give you guys the chance to win a pack, and today, as always, is no different. In fact, today you can win not only one, but 2 packs. So we are turning this pack on screen, this one lowly pack, into 2. Tell them how they can get involved, Speedy.
So what they need to do, and just listen to me before putting your answers, etc. So we're going to have 2 questions for this upcoming game week 150. Who will be the top performing goalkeeper, and who will be the top performing forward in game week 148? When entering your answer in the stream, UC manager name, the position like goalkeeper and the player name, or position forward and the player name, so that we can distinguish which is for the defenders and which is for the forwards. Obviously, you need to like, subscribe, do all the goodies that you need to do on NIM's podcast. And like I say, those are our 2 questions for this game week. So get your answers in before the stream ends.
Yes, so I hope you're all listening there and taking note of that. If not, you'll have to rewind a little bit and replay. So make sure you get those into the chat, guys. All right. So before we move on to Game Week 150, we like to recap on our last stream's tips to see how our players and our teams did, to see how they got on. And for us, it was Game Week 146, I believe. So how did our players get on there, Speedy?
Not terribly well, Nim. We had Mr. Connor Hall with a points haul of 89 points. But if you take into consideration, it was a goal fest, a 3-all draw between Colchester and Forest Green. He still scored 89 UC base score. His possessive and defensive stats were still great, and these obviously contributed to him not getting into the red zone, as we don't want to go there in Ultimate Champions. Then I'm going to move on to Daniel Berglier. Also not great. He only played 55 minutes, 60 points. His team did beat Petrol 2-1. But like I said, he was subbed off shortly after halftime, and not much to write home about on that specific one. And then lastly, we had Abdullah Bar from Sunderland. He obviously had a massive game week the game week before. Unfortunately, once again, not a full match, 67 minutes, terrible 44 points, which the yellow card added to. So in general, for those 3, not the greatest returns.
Yeah, wasn't our best pick out of the bunch, was it really?
My secret is to lead our viewers astray so I can win those podium positions.
I see. Don't lie to them. Don't lie to them. We've given them some good tips. We've given them some good tips, and we're being honest, because we could have just left this in the wayside in this stream and be like, we won't mention Game Week 146. We won't bring that back up again. But we're being honest with you guys, and with that, I guess we ought to look at our teams for Game Week 146.
That's correct. So obviously, let's touch first Bolton and Barnsley. It was a tight 1-all draw. In that specific game, Aaron Collins did come on and equalise. He's recently moved from Bristol Rovers to Bolton. And actually, midweek, he was in partnership with Dion Charles before Dion Charles went off injured. So it'll be nice to see how that partnership plays up moving forward. And then I'm moving on to FCSB versus Perul. As we mentioned on our previous podcast, FCSB's running away with the Superliga. It was a very tough game, a 1-all draw. and they were held to a 0-0 draw as well. Alaru was suspended. One of their playmakers was suspended for that specific game. So not the best of results for them, but like I say, they are way ahead on the Superliga. And then leave the best for last, Arsenal versus Liverpool. Lovely 3-1 victory. I remember us discussing it in our last stream. I was kind of positive. Maybe it was a bit more of the heart than the head. There was a couple of people that weren't too positive, but we got the job done. We
I
played
wonder who that could
fantastically
have
well.
been.
We played, like I say, we played fantastically well. It was a nice little revenge for the FA Cup defeat against Liverpool, and obviously kickstarts our title challenge again, or at least being in the top three moving forward. And then obviously that built on our confidence with a nice little hiding of 6-0 the past weekend as well. So fantastic result for the Gunners.
Yeah, it's been a great time to be an Arsenal fan the last couple of weeks for sure. And I will say I was extremely sceptical about the Liverpool match just because of how good Liverpool have been playing, right? I mean, it was against form given that we'd lost, I think it was like 3 in a row, and then we'd just won, and it was a bit against the grain, but you had confidence and I should have too, really.
I think I think it comes from, like, I've supported them for many, many years. So as Gunner supporters, we've been through thick and thin. I mean, I'm giving the age away now, but I went through the 90s when it was all my Man United friends and family, etc., just used to rip into me and things like that. So it's nice to get a little payback. Obviously, went through the nice Arsene Wenger era, a bit of rebuild going, and it's exciting times ahead for any of you Gunner supporters that are supporting them.
Definitely. And we will touch a little more on Arsenal in a little bit because we want to discuss a couple of players there. But before we do that, we want to have a more generalised look at Gameweek 150, and we'd like to chat about our 3 players to target, Speedy.
Perfect. So the first one on the list is Bibar's Nacho. You can see his stats on the screen. Experienced 35-year-old who's on penalty duty. He's got 7 goals and 7 assists so far this season. On a few occasions, he does score a red score, but not too many on Ultimate Champions. For an offensive player, he averages over 55 touches per match with a passing accuracy of 80%. They also play IMT in Gameweek 150, which is actually the day before his 36th birthday. So I'm sure he'll be wanting to make his UC owners happy with some attacking returns. And in their previous match this season, he did score against them as well. So definitely one to look out for and potentially have in your lineups. And then someone that I think is very exciting that potentially flies a bit under the radar, Peter Kovacic. He's a 22-year-old starting. He started contributing near the end of before Serbia and Slovakia. They had obviously a break over December, and they've just returned in Gameweek 148. Was their first games back. So he started just before the end, or just before the break. He started contributing nicely with a couple of assists. He was also on the score sheet for them in a club friendly during the break. Obviously, they played a couple of friendlies there. And then in Gameweek 148, when as I mentioned, the Night League resumed, he put up a UC score of 223 points, which included 2 assists, which was against Zemplin. He's got a total of 5 goals and 9 assists in just 19 starts. I can see him also adding to this in Gameweek 50. They play Kosis, which is also in the relegation zone. So I would potentially play him in the Slovakian national tournament, the Nike Liga national tournament, or maybe put him in your under 23s because he's 22 and he qualifies for them as well. So really an exciting youngster. And then the one who's shone, I would say, for the last 7 or 8 game weeks, Jaden Stockley. His recent upturn in forms contributed greatly towards Fleetwood's recent results. I think Fleetwood, and we will touch on them just now, I think they've got 2 draws, 2 wins for a relegation place side in their last 5 games, which is fantastic. He scored 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 8 matches. So if you have a look at his stats on the screen, he's only got 6 goals and 4 assists. So he scored 4 goals and 3 assists in his last 8 matches. He's the focal point of the attack. Obviously, Jack Merritt has left him now recently, and he delivers consistent UC Green scores. And no matter what their opponent is, I'm confident that he can perform. They do have a tough game against Barnsley on the weekend. However, it is at home, and I think potentially he'll be in a goal threat once again.
Yeah. We've got a lot of entries today for the silver packs. That's good to see. Thank you everybody for giving that a go. I've noticed a few new joiners to the NimFam as well. Welcome Brad and Sabin and Al. Welcome all to the NimFam. We did have a message here saying that Nacho is suspended. Interestingly.
I did see. Thank you very much. I did see that he had 4 yellow cards. I just wasn't 100% sure on the actual suspension limit for that league. So thank you very, very much for that information. If you don't want Bibos, Nacho, when we get to the teams, I'll give you a couple of other athletes that you can replace him with.
Yeah. Okay. Should we do that? Should we move to the teams?
We can do that. I wanted to take 2 teams that have obviously recently returned, as I mentioned, the Serbian and the Slovakian league. So the first one is FK Partizan. They're obviously in the Mozart Bet Superliga. You can see they are currently top of the log. They're 1 point ahead of defending champion Crvena Zvezda. We must put this into context. Last year, Crvena Zvezda were the champions. They won the league by 20 points at the end of the season. So for Partizan to be leading by 1 point at this stage in the season is really a great effort by them. They also kicked off the resumption of the league last week with a 1-0 victory against Jehl. Even after they were reduced to 10 men late in the game. They average over 2 goals per game, and they have an enticing home encounter against 12th place IMT. So I think they will do very, very well. And then players that you can potentially look out for, and as mentioned earlier, not Bibas Nacho, but your Svetkova Markovic defensively. He's a great player in their lineup, and I've seen a couple of our UC managers looking for various cards and various rarity cards of that specific player. Then the second team, is Pod Brzova, and now they're obviously in the Nike League of Slovakia. They had a great run in their friendly matches during the break, winning 3 out of 4 and doing it quite convincingly. They carried this form into the resumption of the Nike Liga against Milovis in Gameweek 148, beating them 2-1. Their clean sheet was wiped very late due to a penalty. They conceded a late penalty in the second half. They also play Kosis, as I mentioned, with one of their athletes earlier who lost 4-1 in Gameweek 148. So great scoring potentials there. Other players other than the one mentioned is Roland Gallic, Rene Parage, and Marek Bartas will be all potentially good options for this game week. And then once again, we mentioned Jaden Stockley, touching on Fleetwood. They are in the relegation zone. If you look at their goals against, they have conceded quite a few. But like I say, they've had a recent upturn. The goal-scoring form of Jaden Stockley and the defensive abilities of Weredo have been instrumental. They have scored 9 goals in their last 5 matches, and they'll be looking to continue this goal-scoring form over the weekend. As I mentioned, Jack Merritt and Josh Vela have moved on during the transfer. They're playing this 3-4-3 formation, so it looks like they're trying to score more goals than their opposition, which seems to be working quite nicely. As I mentioned, players to look out for: Stockley, Weredo, and Achora. Don't overlook their keeper, Jay Lynch. He's made 18 saves and kept 2 clean sheets in their last 5 matches as well.
That's nice. That's a good one. That's a good one to have on board for sure. And on a note, I wanted to ask you, actually, it's more of a kind of something I wanted some clarification on, being a bit of a newbie. And I was wondering if you could talk me through the summer buyback a bit, Speedy, with the Latvian, Finnish and Iceland leagues, please.
100%. So obviously we haven't, as we've mentioned before, we haven't renewed those specific leagues for the summer period. So we've offered our community, whoever owns the summer cards from, as you mentioned, Latvia, which is a Versaliga, your Finland and your Iceland. We've offered them remuneration for those cards that they purchased. We have released the final compensation per athlete today within Discord. So if anyone hasn't gone and looked at it, go and have a look at the announcement, go and have a look at the athlete list. There's various prices per rarity for the various cards. What you need to do is you can now go and burn those specific summer league cards from those 3 leagues that you don't think you're going to have any use for anymore. Once you burn them, you are able to boost one of your other players, and you will also get reimbursed a 70-30 split, 70% UNA, 30% MGC back on that specific player in accordance to the list that shows on that pricing list that I mentioned. Remember, you do not have to, or you are not forced to sell those players. You can hold on to them in case they might move to another league that is potentially covered, or to a club that we have a license with, and they will continue to score. But that is what we released. It's been coming a while, but we released the final draft today to the community so that they're aware about that.
Brilliant. That's really helpful, actually, because I did read, but it's always nice having it explained to you as well. So thank you for that. That means a lot. We wanted to touch upon the Arsenal defenders, didn't we? Since they make the cut of the thumbnail this week.
Yes. Look, they're our thumbnail, obviously, and we are Ghana supporters. But I've seen a lot of, especially after the last couple of victories, the 3-1 and the 6-0 victories. I've seen a lot of managers in the trading channel in Discord looking for Arsenal players, and I just wanted to touch on Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba. Magalhaes has got 4 goals. Saliba's got 2 goals and an assist. The last 5 for Gabriel Magalhaes in the Ultimate Champions is 193. His last 15, 154. His last 40, 142. For Saliba, 167 points for his last 5, 140 for his last 15, 148 for his last 40. Saliba has 9 clean sheets. Gabriel has 6 clean sheets. I think they're the best centre-back pairing on Ultimate Champions and part of the best defence in the Premier League, as Arsenal have only conceded 22 goals. So if you're looking for centre-backs who we all know on the UC scoring matrix scores well and offer you that attacking potential, I think one or both of these two can really benefit your team. You might struggle to get them. You might need to pay a premium price, but I think it's well worth it. If you take those averages that I mentioned, it's basically you put them in your team and you can set and leave them.
Yeah, I've had Gabriel pretty much since the beginning, actually, because that's when I started in that summer with the Arsenal lineup. So I've had him, thankfully, for a while now. I haven't always played him when he's got some of those scores, mind you, that you mentioned there. But Saliba is one that I would love to add to my collection for sure. Absolutely. We did have some questions. And FPL Thinker says, till what date can we avail the buyback, please?
The buyback is determined by the specific league. So obviously your Latvian, your Finnish, and your Icelandic leagues have specific start dates to their leagues. We have put those specific dates in that announcement. I don't have them off the top of my head now, but you can have a look and it'll let you know you've got up until those specific times. That will be the cutoff for the buyback. What we'll do is anything that is burned now. So from today, if you have summer league cards from those leagues that you would like to burn, if they get burnt now, our first refund of all of those players burnt will be on the 23rd of February, which is next week, where you will receive the equivalent UNA and the equivalent MGC for those athletes that you have burnt.
Okay, brilliant. And we had one asking, is Xhaka suspended?
Is who suspended?
Xhaka. Don't think
Sure,
so.
I don't think he is. I'll have a little look.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think Alessandra actually messaged underneath saying Xhaka should be available. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he should be good.
really-
He played on the 10th of Feb. Obviously, he didn't pick up any bookable offences in that specific game, so I don't foresee why he wouldn't be available for this weekend. I think the big question that's all on our mind is Palacios. Is King Palacios going to be back?
Yes, I hope so. I do very much hope so. My teams have definitely missed out. Missed out without him, that's for sure. Stephen asks, when do we get players they signed like Colin, who's in decent form for Fleetwood, please, Speedy?
Okay, so what we've basically done is we are busy with winter transfers and all of that behind the scenes. As we know, the end of January, certain transfer windows close, and there's a couple that are going to close as well. So we are busy compiling all of that information. Then it's a task where we need to contact that specific club. If we don't have the specific asset on file, they then need to send us the images that we require. We need to make sure that it is of good quality. We then need to have them minted, and then obviously we will publish. And when those things do happen, and we have a number of new athletes that we are releasing or making available within the game, then obviously those airdrops come around, where a lucky few of our collectors, etc., get some of those cards airdropped to them into their collection as well. So that's more or less what the process is. Once those windows close, we compile everything, we send it to the relevant clubs. Once we get the images and the quality is great, then we can start publishing and releasing it to our community.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out. Hello, Geddy. How you doing, buddy? So yeah, we had Chakib, if you rewind back a little bit, Speedy covers what the buyback is. Nazara asked, can you clarify what more emphasis is placed on the L5 or the L15 when players are ranked for the MGC packs? Or is that too complicated to do?
It's not. I think it's a variation between the last 5 and the last 15. Certain other components are obviously taken into consideration, and it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's an ever-changing list. Those lists are continuously being updated, where certain athletes fall and rise up into various categories. So it's all dependent on those specific. Like I say, it's a combination of the last 5, last 15. Also, do not playing, being injured, and things like that taken into consideration.
Yeah, it's evolving, isn't it, all the time? So. Okay. Hey, Al Capone, how you doing, buddy? We had a question from Sabine saying, any idea when new teams will be announced, please?
Quite soon.
Ooh, exciting. That's all you're getting, Sabine. But very soon. Watch this space for sure. Cool. Well, that's wrapped us up for questions. Thank you, everyone. Do get any, we'll stay on for a couple more minutes to see if there are any more that pop up. But we've got lots of entries for the silver packs today, so we have plenty of work ahead of us. Today, there's Speedy with choosing some winners for sure. Is it going to be today? They asked. I don't know.
No, it won't be. It won't be today. I did
you
give you guys a
spoil
little
them.
hint.
You should have given them. You should have kept them on tender hooks there.
Has my connection dropped?
Oh no, you're still here.
Am I back? Oh, I'm still here.
You're still here. You're all good.
So I think on the previous stream I gave a little hint that the new club will be English. So it won't be today that we'll release it, but very, very, very soon. We obviously did the buyback announcement today, and then potentially a little later this evening after the quiz is hosted, potentially release the leaderboard for our collection scores to see our persona whitelist winners for the football and for the basketball as well, which will be quite exciting.
Yeah, I love this. They're all trying to get information out of you. Lewis is saying, can you tap the screen, Speedy, if it's a League Two team? Don't try and catch him out, guys. He'll get in trouble. He'll get in trouble. Anything he does now will be seen as giving clues, so leave him alone.
I just think Nim and for Lewis, I think that there'll be some nice announcements coming up in the next 2 or 3 weeks, or covering the next 2 or 3 weeks and even beyond that. And I'm speaking UC right now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, somebody asked, does the buyback process work for basketball too?
Oh, geez, Nim, I lost that last part.
That's okay. They asked, does the buyback process work for basketball too? I'm assuming it's only for the leagues that have left, right, in football.
No. You see, the difference is in this is the first time we've basically stopped Opta coverage and stopped the actual leagues within Ultimate Champion. So, for argument's sake, we've got a lot of, and not just on the basketball side, but the football side as well. If certain teams get relegated lower down into a league that we do not have a license with, then unfortunately those players from that team become uncovered unless they move to another team or another league that is covered by Ultimate Champion. So if a couple of your basketball teams drop out of the Euro Cup, of the and the Euro League, etc., and are not playing next season, then those athletes will not be covered unless they obviously move to one of the basketball teams that are covered in the Euro Cup and the Euro League competitions.
Okay. I love this. This is the most questions we've ever had, Speedy. They want to talk to us today. I'm loving it. Keep them coming, guys. Has said, blink if it's talky. You don't win either way there, do you? Nazarat says, will Una launch on exchange this month?
I have no extra feedback on that, unfortunately, pertaining to the Una. I just know that it is quite a process to get everything ironed out and done. The team is trying its best to have it done as soon as possible. But unfortunately, from our side, I cannot guarantee anything in that regard. I would hope so, but I cannot confirm anything.
Yeah, we can neither confirm nor deny. Stop trying to catch him out. I had a question for the chat. What are you guys doing with Palacios this week? Are you playing him? And if you are playing him, are you risking the captaincy on him? Speedy, have you got Palacios? What are you doing with him?
I do. I have a mythic Palacios who's been he's basically been my perma captain until he got injured. So he is in one of my lineups, but obviously I'm waiting for some further feedback or news regarding him. I did make a couple of purchases this week off the topic. One was
excited now.
that
Give us all
gentleman
the
that not too many and nothing much, but Peter Kovacic, which I mentioned.
Yep.
I purchased his epic today. Buomono from St. Mirren, I purchased his epic as well. And then I'm trying to think, there were and Nicola Porn to strengthen my Romanian pro team. I've never had him. I know a lot of people do have him, but I picked up Nicola Porn. So 3 little epic purchases in the last couple of days, just to strengthen a little bit.
Nice. Love that. So you're well on the pursuit there of the Halo. Where are you at with that, actually?
I haven't opened my rewards from today yet. It's just MGC from the midweek game week, but I think I'm on 55 or 56. I could actually be lying. I might be a little bit higher, but 1,000 MGC. So still a ways to go. But yeah, I'm waiting for that big game week that gives you a big jump, and I haven't opened any packs yet. So far, I've got staying power. Let's
hope the big one this weekend, will be Arsenal against Burnley. Hopefully some good Arsenal points. Will you guys consider playing Coman as he's only played 45 minutes roughly the last 2 games.
Yeah, that was a strange one. I had him in my Romanian a pro team. I don't, unfortunately, own his epic or mythic. I played his common, and I saw him come off after 45 minutes. But so not too sure about him. But I've got some Romanian lads in the Discord that I chat about certain leagues and teams. So I'll send a shout out there and see if I can get some insights on that. One person I am very excited to see come back. He returned last week with a little cameo. Is Claudia Petrilla from Rapid. He was on fire until he got injured, and he is back. I hope he starts. So we'll have to watch that space.
Sabin says Coman had a cold. Assume he will be full match next. So quite possibly be okay there. And Roro's joined us. Hey, buddy. And so yeah, I think that's all the questions wrapped up. We loved that. That was good. I enjoyed that. It's nice to have a little chat and catch up with the community at the end of the stream there. So thank you all so much for joining us. Chakib says he doesn't have Palacios in his common collection to play him. So Rora says Palacios is over and Andrich era has started. Actually, I did put Andrich in my league setup this week, so it's only a common card, but I'm happy to try it. Petrillo is not in full form, so I think a few more weeks until he will play full match. Okay, fair enough. Thank you all so much, guys. We really, really appreciate it. There's lots of you who have entered the competition for the 2 silver packs. So Speedy's going to have his work cut out there, choosing a winner for you guys. And we will, of course, announce accordingly. And do make sure you check in next week because there will be more chances to win, as always, on the stream. It's always around this time unless something happens to crop up like it did last week. So again, apologies for that. So it's goodbye from myself and goodbye from Speedy.
Goodbye, everyone. Good luck for the game week. Good luck for the events and the giveaways. And I hope your team score very, very well.
Yeah, me too. Bye, guys.
Feels like I'm caught up in a trance. Can't come down all night. The city never stood a chance. With you by my side, it's all ours. So don't second guess. Let down your guard. Just take a chance. I feel the hours ticking down. Wish I could turn it all around, but in my mind we're frozen perfectly in time. Can we turn back the night and stay in this dream for Can we turn back the night? Stay in this dream Can we turn back the night? Same old places come alive. Wherever we are, feels like I'm seeing with new eyes. Even in the dark, let's go get lost. Just take my hand. Ignore the cost. Forget the plan. I feel the hours ticking down. Wish I could turn it all around, but in my mind we're frozen perfectly in time. Can we turn back the night and stay in this dream Can we turn back the night?